Hi everyone. Today I will share my story with granulomatous mastitis, and this video is made as my personal story, my experience that I went through, something in my life that I feel is perhaps worth sharing. So what is granulomatous mastitis? Granulomatous mastitis (GM) is a rare chronic inflammatory breast condition with unknown etiology. So people don't know why women get it, and there is no generally accepted optimal treatment for GM. This is from the article Management of Granulomatous Mastitis, a series of 13 patients who were evaluated for treatment without corticosteroids. So my story begins in 2017, in July 2017. I had a very nasty fall on a basketball court. I fell down on a concrete face down, and I injured my left knee to the point that it was really very painful. But X-ray came clear. I had nothing that showed on an X-ray, but I was in pain. I mention it because I wonder till today if that had something to do with my breast problem that I developed 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, I discovered I have a lump on my right breast. I had a shower and I felt some lump on my breast. And as every woman, you know the lump on the breast is not something you want to find. I went to the doctor. I mentioned my worry, and he sent me for the ultrasonograph. And the results from the radiology results came as negative. That was performed in September 2017. And I could not figure out how come it's negative. I can feel a lump there. So I went back to the doctor, and he basically recommended antibiotics to me to see whether that will resolve an issue. I went on the antibiotics. I've been on antibiotics for more than 4 or 5 weeks, I would say. And so I had one lot of antibiotics and again another lot. In the meantime, the breast became sore. I had painkillers every day, and I managed the pain with Nurofen because I can't tolerate Panadol very well. So I had to have Nurofen, and that elevated the pain of my knee, because I had the pain in my left knee and the pain in my breast. To this day, I really feel like the antibiotic treatment was really prolonged unnecessarily. I finally figured out I have to do something about it because my breast is not getting better. The antibiotics obviously not working. Back to the doctors. I have requested MRI for my breast, and the MRI was performed in November, mid of November, so that's how long I was on antibiotics. And the findings say there is a moderate degree of edema in the right breast, which appears to be swollen particularly laterally. There is considerable non-mass enhancement of benign kinetics in the right breast, upper outer quadrant. The significance of this is not known. And the conclusion states, unusual non-mass enhancement, right breast, upper outer quadrant, and this is asymmetric. I actually spent quite a lot of money on MRI. I did not get diagnosis with it. I was very disappointed. Honestly, I was like, what? I don't know still what I have. I only know something is there. Thank you. Okay. The doctor that I was seeing sent me to an oncologist specialist, and this is his letter. Thank you for seeing the patient. For an opinion and management, she has had right breast pain with an MRI which is asymmetric with increased non-mass enhancement in the upper outer quadrant, suggestive of possible DCIS, LCIS, don't know what it means, and she has had persistent pain since September. On examination, she has a dense area of tissue with skin surface changes and erythema. At 10 o'clock, I have instructed her to take a photo in case the appearance changes. Question mark, inflammatory breast cancer. Yeah, when I seen the specialist oncologist, the first thing she talked to me about was the inflammatory breast cancer, the possibility of inflammatory breast cancer. And I was petrified. I went home, I went online, like probably we all would do, checking what that means for me. And it means nasty things. It means that it's a very nasty cancer, and it means that there is no good recovery rate for the cancer like that. So I was really worried. I was anxious, and I had no answers still. So oncologist suggested a biopsy. I had one. I went and I had a fine needle aspiration, a type of biopsy where they take a bit of liquid from the area, from that affected area. And the biopsy result was again non-specific. After the biopsy, I've experienced a lot of pain. That was actually straight after the aspiration. I've asked for 2 Panadol Forte. It was a burning pain that I had in my breast after this procedure. I was feeling horrible, and I said, that's something wrong. Whatever happened during the procedure, I don't know, but maybe they punctured my blood vessel because it was really bad. I came home, and soon after I developed big bruise. It was as big as my fist. That was really bad bruise. I don't have a photo of it, and I maybe wouldn't like even to show you, but yeah, it was really sore. So very soon after, I was back to my GP, and he actually sent me to ED, emergency department. Thank you for seeing Anna, which is me, the patient, for an opinion and management. It appears that she has a right breast abscess, which is worsening despite antibiotics. She now appears to have developed a rash. This is a representation to BHH, and she's been seeing specialists. I feel her current condition warrants surgical intervention. Fine needle aspiration results demonstrated pus, but no breast cells were identified. Again, he's sending me to ED, basically saying, come on, do something about it. And I went there, and unfortunately, they said, you just have a hematoma on your right breast. We cannot investigate, and send me back home. I was very disappointed. It's again another time where you're going with nothing, basically, and you just don't have answers. I decided to go to a private specialist, private oncologist, a different private oncologist, because the previous one I paid as well. It was private. And I've asked her specifically, please, can you admit me to hospital? Can you basically send a letter that I can be admitted, that proper tests can be done, because I'm with pain for 3 months. I'm just having treatments that don't work. Please, I need help. So she was very kind, and she sent me to a hospital. In a hospital, they perform aspiration. They said they need to clean basically the area. The hematoma was really bad. So they aspired some clear red fluid out. They showed me in the tube how it looked. I've asked for anesthetic for this procedure because I knew what can happen, how it can hurt. So that was definitely what I wanted. And they said, okay, no issue. The nurse was very kind. She actually was holding my hand during the procedure, talking to me through it, comforting me, because despite the anesthetic, I still could feel it. That's how sore it was. So finally the results came. I was prepared for the worst because I even had a nurse from oncology department visiting me in a hospital, preparing me for bad news. And yeah, it was a really scary, anxious time. Finally, with the results, I felt relieved because I read the results. Histopathology reports stated right breast 11 o'clock, 2 centimeters from nipple, granulomatous plasma cell mastitis. That was the final result that was sent to my specialist. Other results from the biopsy stated that I actually had a mass. It said targeted ultrasound examination of the right breast at 11 o'clock. Position over the area of clinical concern demonstrates a fluctuant hypoechoic heterogeneous mass measuring 4.1 times 2.4 times 3.4 in size, centimeters in size. And findings are consistent with right breast abscess, infected hematoma in right breast. Anyway, all the results came finally. I was diagnosed with granulomatous mastitis. That was the key. How can you deal with something if you don't know what it is? Now I could start thinking what to do, because with the diagnosis you have some options. You know there is something that can be done, maybe. Unfortunately, with this I discovered there is not much that they know what to do. That was very disappointing at the end. Yeah, they don't know how to deal with it themselves really much. They recommend some treatments, but they have varied results with them. Actually, according to the article that I actually mentioned at the beginning, they say their time to resolution is in 11 patients was 4 to 28 months. Because the natural history of GM is thought to be self-limiting, close observation and minimally required drainage of abscesses without corticosteroid administration remain the treatment modality of choice. I was searching myself how to help myself, and I had to also see the specialist to manage the condition. I will share all this in my next video, and I'm hoping this video will guide you through what you're going through, or maybe someone that you love and care for is going through. I wish you all the best. I wish you health. Bye bye.